back to another episode of Extraordinary Women. Ladies, I got something big for you guys. All right. I got something major. A very good friend of mine, a special guest, Miss Kierstan Belle. How are you, girl? How's it been?
Hello, hello.
It's been a minute. How you doing?
Yes, I'm doing so good. So good.
Excellent. So before we go forward, of course I know you. We went to school together. We were from the same area, same town. But for those who do not know you, please introduce yourself, where you're from, what you do, and a fun fact about you, something interesting that you think somebody would smile at or chuckle at.
My name is Kierstan Belle. Kirsten Demps is my name, but I go by Kierstan Belle. From Gettysburg, born and raised in Gettysburg. I have a beautiful 3-year-old daughter, and I love to sing.
That I do know. That I do like to sing because we were on the gospel choir together. We did that
All
in college for a little bit.
That's
Yeah, I
right.
do know. All righty. Well, thank you, Kirsten, for being with me this afternoon. I really appreciate you taking the time out. First things first, let's talk about your business. Kirsten's Kids, how's that doing? And when did that get its start? And what has your journey been like trying to stay afloat and having that business during COVID?
Yeah, so I started, okay, well, let me back up a little bit. I I had a blog called Belle's Blues in 2015. It centered around mental health, and music and entertainment, that kind of stuff, the feel good stuff. So that kind of fizzled out in about 2015. I did that for about a year from like 2015, 2016. And then actually, I'd say probably about a year and a half. And then right before I found out I was pregnant, I was like, got to do something different. So then I formed Kierstan's Kids LLC in 2017, um, in the summer before my daughter was born. And then just started evolving the concept of Belle's Blues, which formed into Kierstan's Kids. So Kierstan's Kids LLC, that's what I do now. Right now we're just on social media,
Mhm.
Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. We have a website, two websites actually, the main homepage and then All of Apparel, which is the store that we use to promote the Live for Love mission behind Kierstan's Kids. And basically, I aim to increase social change and decrease at risk behavior.
Mm.
So, in the midst of COVID, it's actually been pretty beneficial since everybody's online now.
Mhm.
And I was kind of chuckling to myself at the height of COVID, like, oh, yes, thank you, Lord, because now they're going to be paying attention.
Yep.
But and it's just like I've been fortunate. I've really been fortunate. My family and I have been fortunate just to not be affected by all this
Mhm.
in such a huge negative sense. And we just been resilient, keep it moving. And hopefully within about I don't want to give a time frame, but sooner than later, we can build a community center and really get some life skills training in there, some creative stuff in there, like an art studio, music studio, that kind of deal. So I'm scoping out some property right now, and hopefully, that'll be manifested real soon.
Good for you. Wow. Every time I see you, Kirsten, you always doing big things. You always on the move. You always like you're I feel like you're never sitting still. You're always on the move and you're always doing stuff. So talk to me a little bit about how do you manage and balance your time between pursuing what it is that you're talking about pursuing hopefully in the future the community center, managing your own business, everything being online on top of being a mom to a beautiful 3-year-old baby girl who is just adorable that I just want to just grab her cheeks so much every time pictures.
She's so interesting, but she keeps me on my toes, and
Hmm.
I feel like that's my main motivation is her,
Right.
and just finding that balance.
Right.
I've always, like, after, I want to say, like, after high school and, like, college, and, like, really diving deep into what we call the real world, I just kind of had to take a step back and, like, truly be observant and be like, okay, when I was in school, I was moving, shaking, hanging out with my friends, on the weekends, involved in this after school activity, on writing for the school newspaper, in chorus, in band, school plays, like the whole nine. So I'm like, if I could do it then, I can I can do it now. You know what I mean? Like, in a different sense. So I just kind of have, like, that mindset, and plus I'm a big sister, the oldest of six. So I've grown up managing a lot of things all the time. So
Hmm.
I just have to, really be objective when it comes to things in my life, and not be so submerged and so deeply involved in, the highs and lows of stuff that goes on, because stuff's going to happen, life happens. But if you truly want something and want to do something, you just got to do it. You just
Yeah.
got to.
Yeah. Do you think, like, how do you think your daughter is viewing you right now? Like, I mean, obviously kids who are a little bit older, they see you as a role model. Like, they know you are a role model, but how do you see your daughter perceiving you, and what are some key aspects you want her to take from you as a mother, as a Black woman, and as an entrepreneur, when she grows up, as she gets older, what are some key things you want her to take from you being her mom?
Yeah, I just want her to know that she can do anything. Seriously, like, anything.
Mhm.
Anything. And that goes for anyone. Anybody can do anything, whatever you want to do. Just as long as you stay the course and see it through. You know what I mean? I just want her to know that as long as you be consistent, persistent,
Mhm.
avidly active, just keep your eye on the prize, you can do it, because anything that you want to create is possible. It's
Right.
possible.
What would you say is the most challenging part about being your own boss, being a mom, and managing everything that you have to manage, and being a role model? You just said you're the oldest, you're a big sister. So I would imagine, I wouldn't think like there's a lot of pressure on you, but there's a bit of an expectation, I would think, from your family and from your siblings, and of course, subconsciously maybe from your daughter as well. So what would you say has been the most challenging part being your own boss, and honestly just being Kierstan? What is something challenging that you go through every day that you're working on?
um Actually, I would probably say the most challenging thing is just being myself,
Hmm.
and not conforming to, what anybody else thinks that I should do,
Mm,
and what anybody else
I'll
thinks.
take that.
Okay. Just being myself. That's the most challenging part, because over the years, I've, lived up to other people's expectations, and have been afraid of disappointing this person, and, maybe saying the wrong thing, or being afraid of being misunderstood. But as I, like, once I became a mom, I said, forget all that. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to be what I say, what I do, regardless. And y'all just going to have to come up off it and respect it. And
Yep.
if you don't, then you don't. But I'm gonna be me regardless. you know.
I mean, it's like, no, I can relate to that on a spiritual, personal level, because no, nobody has time to be walking around on eggshells with people anymore.
Right. Right.
Like,
Right.
you either love me or you don't. You either take me as I am or don't take me at all. Like, this
Right.
is who I am. This is what God created. This is what I got to work with. And if you love it, hey, you love it. If you don't, I'm not gonna try and prove to you otherwise why you should.
Right.
Like, who has time for that? We adults. We got stuff to do. We
Okay.
we be making boss moves. We don't got time for that
Okay.
boss moves. All right. I have to ask about it, girl.
Go ahead.
You just recently announced that you are running for mayor of Gettysburg. First
Yes.
of all, let me applaud you on that. You are running for mayor.
Thank
What
you.
made you decide to do this? Has this been something you have been wanting to do for quite some time now?
No. No. And I just made the decision to run for mayor maybe 2 months ago,
Mm-hmm.
a couple weeks before Christmas. Um, I had kind of thought about it because I knew that, the time was coming for
Mm-hmm.
us to have a new mayor. And then I saw the town unravel, for the sake of better words. I saw the town unraveling over the summer, over the 4th of July weekend. In Gettysburg, we had people walking around and Antifa this and blah, 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 and open carrying rifles across the sidewalk. I mean, I was out of town and came back into town close to 11 o'clock. It was about 10:46 when I looked at the time because I was like, what is going on here? Like, I
Yeah.
just saw a man walking in front of the blue and gray, strapped up, like vest, camouflage vest, rifle across his chest. I'm like, what is this?
Right.
So, and then my baby was in the back seat, and I kind of looked at her and was like, okay, I gotta do something about this. Like, the best that I can, the most possible way that I know how. So at first it was just a thought, you know what I mean? And so I had drafted the Live for Love initiative and wanted to push that to borough council. And so that's kind of still being pushed around. But hopefully the more eyes that I can get on it and really have my borough council sit down and take a good look at it, that they'll want to introduce it into the borough.
Yeah.
So that was my first attempt to try to, really increase that social change and modify that at-risk behavior. And then as time went on, I was just, seeing different things, the presidential election drama, and then I was like, I got to do it. If I'm going to do it, I got to do it now. I got to announce it soon. And God be with me if this is what you want me to do for real, because here
Mm-hmm.
we go. Yeah.
Right.
So I just picked up my election packet from the Democratic Committee this afternoon, and um, that is like the first step of the process, is securing those signatures from Democratic voters and then turning that in, campaigning until the primaries in May, and then election day will be in November. So it's on now.
And something that you said, two things that you said that really stick out to me. First thing was, you said you saw everything unraveling. That let's I'm not typically one to get too involved with politics too
Right,
much,
right,
but
right,
I know what you mean, and I hear you when you say that. We have all, within the last 4 years, we have seen this country just unravel and fall apart. We've
right.
seen throughout the country. We've seen it in our towns, and for you to see it in your town, you're not just your town, your home. This is a place you grew up in. That shows that you care about where you live. You care about your community. That was the first thing that stuck out to me when you said that. And then when you said you had your baby in the back and you looked at her, that speaks volumes without actually even a thought. All it takes is looking at the future. You saw your daughter and you thought about her future. And that's where it all starts. You are when you are set on doing something for change, it usually starts with something that is close to you, something close to home, whether it's your hometown, whether it's I don't know, a school, or your child. But for you, I feel like that drive for you to announce that came from just the love of your home, and then
Hmm.
the future for your daughter. So I commend you and I applaud you for that, because we need more people like that. We need people to actually step up and be, not just talk about change, but be the change, fight for the change. And I see you doing that. So in regards to your journey and running for mayor, what are you finding is the most challenging part, but yet also most rewarding thing as you continue to pursue this?
Well, the most rewarding would probably just having to be in it. Just given this, just being able to pursue this opportunity would be the most rewarding. And I feel like it'll continue to be rewarding as I continue to get to know the people in my community that I may not have interacted with so often in the past.
Mm-hmm.
And that goes for, the oldest person to the youngest person and the small business owners and so on and so forth. The most challenging would probably be, just
Mm-hmm.
all the information that goes on with the whole process. Like I've
Yeah.
been, in meetings with county commissioners, county commissioners, the borough council, different democratic groups, just getting to know people and, the issues and things that they care about. And so I'm just really taking it all in. We had a great borough meeting, I should say, last week, I believe it was,
Mm-hmm.
and the workshop, and I really, and it ran a little long. I definitely had to modify my daughter's evening schedule just to attend this meeting and be fully attentive, but she rocked with me through it, had her snacks and stuff in her room while mommy's taking meetings in the living room. And it was just a workshop that I really got to just get a nice overview of the whole town and how things work, from financial stuff to, taxes, budgets, even the way that the municipality is structured for the water and the changes they're making to the tanks and how they want it to be, more cost efficient for the residents. Just getting a good oversight of how things are. Because for me, I like to look at things and know how they work from the inside out. Like when I was young in high school, I used to work at KFC, and my manager, we used to work up front, so you're pulling, the popcorn chicken and the mashed potatoes and stuff to bag it up and hand it out front and everything like that. And one time, like I was in the cash register and I heard my manager yelling in the back, like, you guys are just pulling all this chicken and not restocking. Where do you think the stuff comes from? Like he was mad that nobody was like selling chicken no more and nobody was pulling from the freezer to bring it to the front. So like that kind of like put in perspective in my mind, like, okay, you really got to know, like, not just, what's in front of you, but where you got to get it from in order to, keep stuff going. You really got to know the ins and outs of this process. Like it takes more than just, pulling from the food that's ready right here. And if it's not ready right here, then go get it from the freezer, put it in the fryer so you can have some more to refill. And so that's just pretty much like my approach to life, is just knowing how things work and how to keep the cycle going.
Right, right. I want to go back to the point that you made about, meeting with, the community and getting to know some of your community. So, um, how exactly are you going about that? Because of course, to becoming mayor, you do want to get more familiar with your community, your small business owners and your residents. How are you going about doing that during, the pandemic? How have you managed your outreach to the community?
Right. A lot of Zoom meetings so far, a lot
Mm-hmm.
of Zoom meetings. In the near future, definitely, masked up door to door. And that's how it'll have to be, for now, especially in the midst of the campaign. When I definitely can, because I love to cook and I cook at home, but when I can, I like to go out, even if I'm just picking up something from a restaurant or just stopping here for lunch or however, whatever, just to say hi, just because people have seen my face on social media, in the newspaper, blah, blah, blah. But I just really want to have that face to face interaction, like, and not even to say, like, hi, I'm Kierstan, I'm running for mayor. But no, just so you know me, like as a customer, you're the business owner. I really make it my intent and do it on purpose to forge that valuable relationship first.
Right, right. So let's talk a little bit about being a millennial running for office, because we got a lot of millennials that are in office, that are running for office. We talk about our children being the future, which they are, but really we're the future. Millennials are stepping up and they are fighting for change and just social injustice and everything. So what is it like being a part of the millennial community who's running for office?
It's really great. It brings a really fresh perspective to a lot of what's going on. I feel like, things have been done a certain way for so long, and we're here to shake it up
Yep.
and really uproot the status quo and do things different. And when it just comes to, like, I don't want to sound ignorant when I say this, but I hate politics. the
Girl, you
politic
sound like
game
me.
the
You sound
politic
like
game
me.
is one that I do not play. Like, I don't like to be politicking, but I definitely have to be, in the Democratic box, because I'm definitely not the other option. But
Yeah.
I can only be myself. And being born in 92, I feel like I have the best of both worlds,
Yep.
being in the midst of, coming up off the late 80s, and, the hip hop and the new edition Boys to Men type eras, and like the Backstreet Boys type eras. And then, like, I'm an old soul as it is. So coming up off that, living my life, mid 90s, early 2000s, growing up in school. And then I graduated in 2010. So really, you know, dived into uh, the Mac, really got to see the iPhone evolve. You know what I'm saying? Like, really got to see the iPod evolve, like from its early inception when it was introduced to our generation. So I really have the best of both worlds, as being familiar with the old, being familiar with the new, and ready to take all that, mix it up, and create something different.
I like that. I like that mentality. I like that philosophy because it's true. You're taking something that that's old, and you're taking something that that's new, that's today, and you're mixing it up with what is not so much comfortable for you, but what blends well with our world today and our society. So I
Right.
like that mentality. I
Right.
think that
Because I feel like that's exactly what Steve Jobs did with the iPhone.
yes.
Exactly what he did with the iPhone. Like,
Mm.
nobody was trying to mess with it at the
Nope.
time. They're like, "What is this? Touchscreen, huh?"
Yep.
but you see what the productivity that it produced.
Hmm.
You see the whether, and people manipulate things for what they want to manipulate it for. You know what I mean? Like, using good for bad, however
Yep.
the case may be. But its initial inception really carried the human spirit, and just wanting to truly connect with people on a basis that hadn't been done before. And I just feel like that's who I am as a person, is just doing things. I really have the heart, the mind, and the drive to do stuff that isn't being done and hasn't been done.
Right. Right. So the $1 million question that pretty much every politician now is being asked is, you know, in regards to where our country has landed within the
Hmm.
last $1 million question, do you think you can unite your community, and how do you plan on doing that? Because at this point, unity is what I think a lot of people are striving for, whether you're on as CNN anchors say, whether you're on the far left or the far right. Do you think you can unite your community, and how do you plan on doing that?
Well, first, my initial answer would be yes, but the realistic answer is no. Not at all.
Hmm.
And to think that I can would definitely not be the truth, because if it would be that easy, then it we would already be united, like post 1968. You know what I mean? So the people have to be open and willing to uniting themselves. And when they come correct and they ready to go, I'll be here, as I've been here, to facilitate the union and strengthen it. But they have to truly want it. And they say they want it, you know what I mean? But they're too stuck in what has happened to them, you know what I mean? And until they're open to actually initiating that healing,
Hmm.
that's when the unity can be born.
So what's your idea of unity? You say that, people are stuck and they have to be open to it. What is your idea and your philosophy of unity?
Authenticity.
Okay.
Authenticity. When you are yourself and I am truly myself, then we can come together and do what needs to be done. Otherwise, I'm too busy throwing shade at you. You too busy throwing shade at me. You too busy worried about what they doing over here and not really focusing on the task at hand. You know what I mean? So that's just what it has to be. And I drafted the Live for Love initiative for that purpose, to create unity, to strengthen my community. But like I said, they have to be open to receiving it first.
I like that. And that makes me think about, what Biden said during his speech when he was inaugurated. When he said, I will be a president to all Americans. Even
Hmm.
if you didn't vote for me, I'll still be a president to all Americans.
Yeah.
So you talk about authenticity, that's your idea of unity.
Hmm.
What is your message to the people who, you know don't support you, the people who don't agree with your political views, your political standpoints, and your goals? What is your message to them, and how do you plan on, I don't want to say so much getting them on your side, but how do you plan on um opening those doors to welcome that authenticity to them?
Yeah. Um, just being myself, just being real and upfront. Because me and okay, I'll give you a prime example. The master sergeant in my town,
Hmm.
people view him as a total prick.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
I can walk up to him and he can walk up to me. I embrace him, he embraces me back, and we chop it up on the sidewalk. It's nothing. It's
Okay.
nothing. So and that's just it. Like, at the end of the day, we all want to chill.
Right.
In in layman's terms, we just want to chill. We want to
Right.
be with our families, make our money, enjoy our life. You know what I mean? So why am I infringing on your happiness, and why are you infringing upon mine?
Mm.
Let's not do that.
Yeah.
Let's lovingly coexist in the same space. I don't have to agree with everything you do. You don't have to agree with everything I do. But if you're not hurting me and I'm not hurting you, then what is it then?
Right. Right. And
What is
I think the key thing is to remember and doing this is that you really can't please everybody.
right?
Not everybody is going to love you. Not everybody is going to support you. We said it earlier. We don't got time to try to have you be on our side, or have you love me. Either love me or you don't. But
Hmm.
still, it's just knowing, having that realistic idea in mind that not everybody is going to be satisfied. Not everybody is going to be content. There's always going to be that one person or that one group of people that's like, well, they should have did it this way, or they could have done it better this way. But I feel like, as you said, authenticity, as long as you are doing your part and doing the best that you can, making
Hmm.
the best version of yourself, so that way your community sees that. I think that's all that matters. I think that's all that counts. So I like that authenticity, and that that goes far in politics now too. I feel like, I ain't gonna say names, but I feel like there's some politicians out there who are
You
not authentic,
know,
and you see it, you know it, and it shows up on their social media, it shows up in the news when they're being interviewed, and they're being side blinded by anchors on certain news platforms. So authenticity definitely is key. So if you if you win, if you become mayor of Gettysburg, what
hmm
is your promise to your community? And what do you plan on tackling first on your first day in office? What would you like to tackle first?
yeah. So the basis of my campaign is just to take care of my kids and families, and that's everybody. That's
Hmm.
what the town is made up of: children and families. And yes, we need our buildings, our different institutions for, admiration, education, so on and so forth. But we need to make sure that our kids and families are a priority. And I believe that when you take care of the community will take care of you. And I just feel like, that's where it has to begin. That's where it has to begin with my kids and families. So whatever, needs my attention first and foremost, that's what I'll be attending to. I also want to make sure that, because as mayor, my primary job is overseeing the police department. So I want to make sure that I have a valuable relationship with all of my police officers. I know a select few, but I know I definitely don't know everyone. So I'll definitely be starting there. Maybe not on the first day, but within the first week. But like I said, whatever calls for my immediate attention, that's where I'll be. But, just maintaining that head of household perspective. Gettysburg is my home. These
Mhm.
people in my community, I treat them like family, and I'll make sure that they're taken care of first and foremost.
That's good, and I like that as well. Like how that's the base of your campaign, taking care of your community, taking care of yourself and your community first. Is the key to success is what?
Consistency.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, consistency. And not perfection, consistency. And don't aspire to be perfect. It's never going to happen.
Hmm.
Never, not ever, because we're humans and we are liable to make mistakes. And we have to make mistakes in order to learn and grow. Life is all about the learning and the growing, it's a constant evolution. And if you're not openly honest with yourself about that, you'll forever be in remorse and regret and resenting yourself and other people and trying to compete. It's not even about that.
Hmm.
You just have to be consistent with what it is that you want to do and whatever it is that you want to pursue, whatever you feel that is good for you.
Right.
And and hold on to that. And so then it'll be good for somebody else and you'll be an inspiration to somebody else who wants to do the same. So be consistent and that's it.
I agree. The key to success is consistency. And more importantly, I think the key to success is, um, you know, being okay with asking for help.
That's right.
Because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, a lot of people cannot get to success without a great support system.
Right. And that's why I hate that damn self-made title. Like
You know,
ain't
yeah,
nobody self-made. Even the person that is the most self-sufficient, you had some help along the way.
yes,
Because
yes,
if you do every single thing by yourself, you wouldn't ever need anybody else. You'd never be sad. You know what I mean? You'd
yep,
never go through all these human emotions because you got it.
right.
You know what I mean? But yes, that self-made. Mm-mm, mm-mm.
That's a no go. That's a no. No, I agree with you, and I never actually thought of it that way. When I see posts about celebrities that are self made, that have done things on their own, I just think to myself, well, did they do it entirely on their own, or whether they had help financially, or whether they had some kind of support group at their lowest moment when they were struggling and they needed some uplifting. Self-made doesn't have to just be, oh, you had help paying for your business. You had help opening your business. Self-made, also goes along the lines of, you had support somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Someone was in your corner
Yeah.
when you needed that support. Mom was in your corner. Dad was in your corner. Your cousin was there when you were
Right.
thinking about giving up and you were thinking about quitting and not pursuing that that makeup line. Somebody was there to help you continue to uplift yourself.
Right.
So
And
yes,
even and even if you didn't have a single person in your corner, you
yep.
still have to get the information from somewhere.
You That is true. You had to get the information from somewhere. You had to go somewhere to get to where you are now. Everybody starts from somewhere. And we just have to remember that, the key to success is consistency, and definitely surrounding yourself with not just support, but the right support.
Right.
Let's just agree. Sometimes support doesn't come with the right support.
Uh-huh.
It can come with the bad support. You
Yeah.
know, that whole old saying, misery loves company. That's a different kind of support. And that's the support y'all don't want.
Right. That's right. You
So,
definitely have to use your discernment and know who is for you and who is not.
yes, yes. So, Kierstan, before we sign this off really quick, where can people follow you? Where can they contact you if they want to ask you any questions? Shout out your social media, Instagram or website. Where can people get in touch with you?
Okay, so a couple things. KierstanSkids.com. My first name, KIERSTANS kids.com. That's where we have, the mission behind the company, a little bit of information about myself, the Bells Blues playlist on iTunes. My tracks, for life's journey are up on there. Also, this lovely thing, the Live for Love calendar journal. It really outlines, the Live for Love mission. It has a whole glossary about how we live for love. And then, just like the journal pages and the calendar months. I'll show you February real quick. This one. This is a February calendar right here. And there's like journal pages in here to write down, oh, shucks, my camera. Different things about, how you want to pursue life. And then there's also All Love Apparel. That's, these hoodies, the Live for Love hoodies, the rest of the collections, the Live for Love collection, the Dream collection, the Do You Hear Me collection, the Different collection, the Certified Bucket collection. There's about 6 or 7 on there that support the Live for Love mission. So go to apparel.kierstanskids.com, run it up, get what you need off there. And then, we're on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Kierstan's Kids.
All right, ladies, you heard her. Please go follow her. And gentlemen, if you're watching this episode as well, please follow Kierstan on her social media. I will tag all of this at the bottom of the video as well. It will be listed in this video so you can refer to that. Kierstan, thanks again for joining me. I really appreciate it. And good luck to you on your
Thanks for having me. Thank you.